Welcome traders to our post-week market review. So jumping straight into things here where the market opens, let's have a look. So as you can see, this is the first candlestick of the market open as of this previous week. And as you can see for gold overall, by looking at the charts with the naked eye, we can see that price has been bullish. We'll start off by dragging our path and marking in all the key points, ignoring any sort of points like this. We're not going to do this. We will for this example, but we're not going to do that all the way. We're just going to grab the main places that the market has gone to. So as you can see by looking at the market, price has been extremely bullish. We obviously had this consolidation area starting the week, and then price ended up breaking out late around 7 o'clock on the Wednesday. So sort of for the first 3 days of market of the market open throughout the previous week, we saw sort of some major consolidation on the higher time frames. You can then see, if I go ahead and mark here, you can then see we had a break of structure. If I go ahead and just change this to red so you can see what I'm talking about. So we had our break of structure here, where price ended up breaking through not only this high, and this high, all three highs all at once, and we had a break of structure. And then what did we see? We saw a push above, and price came back down to test this previous resistance as a support, so indicating to us that price was going to go higher. And if you look, you can see that this happened 1 or 2 more times in the future. We saw price come back down and test previous resistance as a support, with price then continuing on bullish, testing at our point of interest, finding resistance at around 3,396, with price then coming back down to test as a support with sort of a rough median area. As you can see with these wicks here, if I just go ahead and mark this in yellow so you can see that these wicks that were testing on support was testing on this same sort of rough area as a resistance. So again, a sort of break and retest pattern, not as clear as this, but it's still definitely a break and retest pattern. After that happened, then you can then see price push up a considerable amount, with price topping off at around 3,444, and then price has since then consolidated. Price then sort of has began to create the same sort of patterns we saw here, but in reverse. So if I go ahead and delete these drawings that we just made and grab a trend line, so as you can see with these highs that were created, you can see that price sort of staggered itself up. So we created a high, followed by a higher low, followed by a higher high, higher low, higher high, and then a higher low, and then price ended up breaking structure. As you can see, the consolidation that we are seeing at the top here is sort of a lower low, lower high situation. So obviously we created our higher high, but then we created a lower low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, and then expecting obviously next week market open a lower low. However, that's just in what we can see as of right now. If I go to our minute 15, you'll be able to see this in a little bit more detail. That is Bitcoin, and we do not care about Bitcoin. As you can see, so on minute 15, you can see what I'm talking about a little bit more. You can see that we sort of have a rough point of resistance right here, where price is tested at this level around 2 times now, and then we sort of have a rough area of support around this area, or we could even drag it a little bit further and go to this level here. So with all that being said, what could we expect going into next week for gold? So looking at the current consolidation and the current bullish momentum that we have seen with price as of right now, we could the most likely thing with price action that we are with the price action we are currently seeing right now, we could potentially see price ended up continuing on bullish, with price then becoming bullish, and then breaking through these previous highs. Apologies for the slight background noise there. So if what we're looking for as of right now is if we see price break through at this high, we most likely will see this level of 3,344 broken through, with price then continuing on and creating a new high, which might be the previous all-time high. So with all that being said, I believe for post-week market review, so in conclusion, what we have seen for this week is a considerable, or a strong bullish move for gold, with price creating higher highs and higher lows all the way up until around 3,345 roughly. We've seen some points of consolidation, we've seen some retracements. However, the strength of this bullish momentum is definitely still strong, and buyers are definitely in control. However, we could still expect a couple bearish retracements before price goes on to create a new all-time high. So a couple scenarios that we could potentially see basing this off of our hour one. So we have a sort of bearish wedge here starting to form. As you can see, we have price creating a higher high, a lower high, and then another lower high. And then if I go ahead and grab a trend line for the bottom, so we're sort of nearing closer to that area again, grabbing as many wicks as we can without crossing through any candlesticks. So we sort of have this flag pattern, as you can see, and we're waiting for sort of price to come around here, which will be sort of right as the London session opens up on Monday. And we're going to see what price reacts. So if price ends up breaking through this trend line here, most likely we'll see that continuation with price hitting the new all-time high. However, if price then fails at this level of support at around 3,425 and then also fails at our bottom trend line, we most likely will see price retrace with our next point of interest, where we will expect price to target at around 3,395. So again, concluding our post-week market review, price has been bullish, and this bull run has been has had a nice bit of strength to it. Buyers are definitely still in control. However, there is definitely still some possibilities for a bearish retracement. So obviously we're going to have to wait and see what happens with the market. And remember, I will be posting a start of week technical analysis write-up where I will go over at the end of the day, once sort of New York session is starting to close, or if not has closed already, I will then send in a write-up technical analysis and based off of what has happened throughout the first day, and then it will give us a clearer understanding for the rest of the week. So that's going to be our post-week market review. I hope you have all enjoyed as always. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know in the comments below if there's anything that you would like me to go over a little bit more in the next video. But yeah, that's going to be our post-week market review for this week. I hope you have all enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next one.